When we look at the classics of science fiction film and TV, we discover an open testing ground for the ideas of the future. In science fiction, we find not merely space battles or alien civilizations. We encounter technological prophecies about how we will live and communicate in times to come. In this series, we'll explore how classic and contemporary science fiction imagined the future of communication, especially language technology and AI. And we'll see in many cases just how close those visions have come to our present day. So let's begin with one of the greatest of all time. Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Released in 1968, 2001 imagined a future where humans live surrounded by advanced machines, navigating new frontiers, interacting with AI, and spending a lot of time with screens. 2001 was designed and produced with significant technical input from NASA and presents a deep ambivalence. On one hand, it's a celebration of scientific progress and the promise of interplanetary exploration. On the other hand, it uses the metaphor of human life in deep space to expose some of the minor quirks of our increasingly technological environment. One thing we see a lot of in 2001 is the presence of screens. Screens for video calls, screens for work, for watching the news, screens for games, or what have you.
These look quite normal to us now, but back in 1968, there was no such thing as a portable tablet-shaped computer that was all screen and no internet or Wi-Fi to bring all of this amazing multimedia content directly to the doom-scrolling Siberian of tomorrow.
Some have theorized, such as YouTuber Rob Ager, that 2001's mysterious black monolith was in fact a blatant representation of the screen itself. Then there's HAL 9000, the ship's onboard AI.
HAL is a sophisticated, multifunctional, and downright lovable operating system that controls and administers nearly every detail of life in the technosphere, aka the spaceship. In the film, the astronauts speak naturally to HAL without keyboards or buttons, and HAL can speak back.
The ability of computers to hear us and understand our language in recent decades is thanks in part to a programming technology called Natural Language Processing, or NLP. Today, AI assistants, customer service bots, and all sorts of software and devices can carry out voice-based interactions with us thanks to NLP. But HAL does more than just process language. It plays chess, can detect subtle shifts in human emotion, and apparently has a will of its own. In one pivotal moment, HAL watches silently as the astronauts are sat huddled in an escape pod, reading their lips as they try to have a private discussion about turning off the computer, aka deactivating HAL.
Today, lip-reading AI, also known as visual speech recognition, or VSR, is not merely an area of active research. You can go online, search for AI lip-reading apps, and start using them yourself, just like HAL.
How is this possible?
Let's see. Thanks to some very clever mathematical procedures called machine learning techniques, we now have things like artificial neural networks, which are behind today's LLMs, or large language models. With these techniques, computers can now happily learn to decode, understand, and reproduce almost any pattern of communication, as long as they have enough data to learn from. Sounds great, right?
Well, not according to our astronauts. As the lip reading incident made it all too clear, it turns out that having a very good data privacy or encryption protocol would have been just the thing as they found themselves under increasingly intrusive AI surveillance. Later, when astronaut Dave finally breaks into Hal's data center and starts to disassemble its robotic brain, we find that Hal is an example of what we would now call a locally hosted AI.
This is another way of saying an AI software that runs on local hardware and can operate without a connection to the cloud.
Many organizations today are just starting to implement locally hosted AI systems. Not because they're going to Jupiter, but because they want to use large language models without sending their data out over the internet to other people's computers. So these were just a few examples where we can see the technological imagination of Kubrick's 2001 drawing out some rather accurate depictions of the future of communication and life in the technosphere. I, for one, am personally looking forward to rocking my very own oversized zero-gravity jogging loop.
Got you, Scott. While I personally lack legs or a fondness for cardio, I support your enthusiasm.
Well, all right. Stay tuned for our next installment of this special edition TVO Talks as we look at Arrival, a modern-day sci-fi classic that made xenolinguistics probably the hottest trending topic, like, ever.
See you then.